I'm going to do this video to address the subjects of empathy, discipline, and parenting. I'm doing this video because there is a discussion that came up in one of the WhatsApp groups where I belong about this student, a young lady in one of the colleges or universities in Nigeria, who was said to have a problem with one of the lecturers or the professors, to the point that this girl was said to have beaten the professor. So she beat the professor because the professor tried to intervene in her use of the cell phone to do a video recording. This girl was said to have been involved in what led to this altercation because the professor was trying to correct her, and then it led her to biting the professor. But that's not the issue. The issue is that the school authority reviewed this and then took an action which some people are feeling is extreme because they dismissed this student from the university. So the question that is raised in this conversation is, where is the line between empathy and discipline? And then I want to bring in the issue of parenting, or the topic of parenting in this matter. So parenting, empathy, and discipline. Where is the line? So let's read from the letter to the Hebrews. In chapter 12, verse 11 says, "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it." As teenagers, as youth, and even getting into young adults, we all have our exuberance. We all have our excesses because of the hormones and the interactions of neurons in the brain in us. And that is understood. But when it comes to the issue of conduct and the question of behavior, the conduct disorder is something that is a problem. When a kid has conduct disorder, that means there is some cognitive problems, there is issue with problem-solving skills, communication, anger and anger management, and other things going on. But it is also hard in our society today to distinguish between this and when there is a demonic possession and demonic attack, whether we agree to that or not. A demon can take a hold of somebody and that person would not know what is going on. That is not my own domain. I'm not going into that now. But for a young lady to act in a manner that is morally wrong and then build on that to create further problems, then something is wrong. A conduct disorder happens because there is an evil and you take joy in doing that evil. So first of all, you get into a problem with the professor or the lecturer, and then you bite the lecturer, then you concoct lies against the lecturer, and then you insist on that lie, warranting a panel, and then leading to your expulsion. I think there is something going on here if all these facts are correct. So whether the school authority took an extreme measure, for me, is something that resides within the ambience of the authority given to the school. And the school also is looking at deterrent against further misbehaviors by students in the school. But imagine if there was no camera, as an example, to track the actions and to prove the veracity of this case. A girl like this can be harmful and dangerous and to the society. Where does the problem start from? The problem starts from the family and parenting. Sometimes it's as if we put a lot of load on parents, but to whom much is expected, to whom much is given, much is expected too. Parents, families have to close the gap. Parents, families have to discover the crack in family life and with their children, because that is where it starts from. Some parents work so hard and still things happen. Sorry about that. But what I'm saying is to encourage parents to not enable their kids at home. Don't enable your kid. Don't let your kid take things for granted, or don't take things for granted with them when they need to be corrected. How is discipline in your house? How is discipline in your family? What does discipline mean to you? Empathy and discipline can be closely related if we understand them. In fact, empathy, from my dictionary definition, helps to build trust and connection with children in relation to making them feel safe, understood, and loved. Yeah, you build trust, you build connection with your children. But how do you build trust? You build trust, first of all, by setting good example. You build trust by being a role model. You build trust by being a support system and being a morally good figure for your children. How do you build connection? That trust that you're building helps to establish connection with them, so they know that mom, dad is there when we do things, and mom, dad will come in when we do things in a good way. Mom, dad will also help us to be nice or to be good and to behave well as needed. So they feel safe. Feeling safe cannot come from misbehavior, cannot come from misconduct. Feeling safe cannot come from acting the way you like, when you like, going out when you like, coming in when you like, dressing how you like, and going out where you like. That is not what it means to feel safe, because you can get into trouble. So discipline with empathy becomes effective when there is straight, understood boundary, clear boundaries, certain boundaries that foster positive behaviors in children. That is what it means to be empathic. That is what it means to show empathy. So by the time we are talking about empathy from the school, we should talk about empathy, building trust, discipline, correction, effective parenting, efficiency in our roles. so that empathy does not devolve to sympathy. Sympathy is not empathy. Empathy is from within. Sympathy is feeling sorry from external. So parenting can be tough, and I always encourage parents. But to the fact of setting example, the school has other children and other students who are watching and who are observing. If we don't take necessary actions, then they also take that as the standard. From my own perspective, I think it is important to set clear boundaries and to know that discipline is good and discipline helps to create love, compassion, trust, and importantly, safety, especially within our institutions of learning. Children look up to the authorities on campus, and the authorities need to take action as needed. If action is not taken as needed, then bad examples, bad standards, bad models become the norm. So, from what the Hebrew says again, for the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. Let us use the peaceful fruits of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. I think good mental health support system is also important for such kids, as well as good spiritual support system. So she can learn from her mistakes and correct them and become a better person, and then a role model for tomorrow. God bless you.